Hi, I'm Will Raison and this is my tackle room. Come on in and have a look. Hi, my name's Will Raison and today I'm going to take a look at the lines I use for pole fishing. Not just main lines, but hook lengths as well. There's a number of things I look for when making the decision of what line to actually use. Number one, strength and durability. As you know, with all of my fishing, that is a major factor. Knot formation is another one. It's no good having a line that you struggle to tie hooks or loops with, because presentation, as you know, is very, very, very important. There's a massive amount of lines on the market and no one line does it all. And I'm going to run through some of the lines I use and the reasons I use them. Now I'm going to start off for main line for pole rigs, and this is very, very important. My number one line is the Darwa Match Winner. Like I say, this is for all of my fishing 020 or below with small floats. The line's very, very supple, very strong. It's exactly the diameter it says, which is very important. If I want to use 018, I need to know that the line is actually what it says and not a lot thicker or obviously a lot thinner. Like I say, that's my number one line. When you move the float up and down, it doesn't mark. Also, it's treated against UV, so it doesn't lose its lifespan, obviously if it's out in the sun. A number one line, definitely for my main line. Going on to main lines now, there is another line I use, which is a TDR Real Line. It's made as a real line, but it's definitely one of the most durable lines Darwa do. And I do use this as main line as well in Pacific circumstances, and these are when I'm using slightly bigger floats, big deep rivers which I fish abroad, or any kind of deep reservoirs in England where the float's bigger and I just want that extra little bit of durability from the line. Like I say, this is definitely, in my opinion, the most durable line Darwa do. And when you need to step up the size of floats, the fishing's a bit rough and ready, then you definitely need this line, because like I say, with bigger floats, the line takes a lot more punishment. The Match Winner is very good. This one, like I say, is just a little bit more durable. Now I'm going to go on to the hook lengths, which is all, as all you know, I put a massive amount of importance in my hook length line. Not only for the visibility and the strength, but also how the line actually ties. I tie all my hooks by hand, and like I say, knot formation and having no crinkle on the hook length to me is vitally important. If you have a bad hook tie, obviously your presentation's going to suffer. Your presentation suffers. We all know what happens then. Your catch rate falls and you're going to start to get beat. So line choice for hook lengths is vitally important. My number one hook length line over the past few years has definitely been the Drennan double strength. It ties well, it's exactly what it says on the spool, it's strong, it's durable, and more importantly, I've got a lot of confidence in this line and it's never let me down. Anything from the 05, which is really light, 06, 07 for real light fishing, bloodworm fishing or even squat fishing, right the way up to 018, it really is a fantastic line and very, very strong. The only other lines that I really want to touch on now for hook length, obviously the popularity of fishing with fluorocarbon has gone through the roof, and it is a line now that I really do love to fish with. I feel more confident with it and I do feel like I get more bites and ultimately put more fish in the net. The fluorocarbons I've been using is the Drennan Supplex. Again, it ties very well. There's this little bit of a myth in the angling world that fluorocarbon is hard to use, it's hard to tie. It's hard to tie hooks with and it's hard to tie loops with. And some fluorocarbons, yes, that is true. Just for some reason, they're not very user friendly. The Drennan Supplex one, however, is one of the easiest lines I've used to tie. It's exactly what it says on the spool. I've mic'd it up, which again is something that I do with all my lines. Like I say, the knot formation is good and it is unbelievably strong. Just a little bit of a story. When I first started using it, I went on a trip to Slovenia fishing for big barbel. And the first day I caught 29 kilo on 015 Supplex fluorocarbon. And I was adamant that this line was a lot thicker than it actually said. I returned home, mic'd it up, and it was absolutely bang on. And I couldn't believe how strong it was. And from that day, like I say, I've had utmost confidence in this line. Not only is it a user-friendly fluorocarbon, but it is unbelievably strong for the diameter. The only other line that I do use now, which is a Gamakatsu fluorocarbon. Again, this is a very, very good fluorocarbon, slightly more expensive, but like I say, the way that it ties everything about it is fantastic. And for my slightly lighter fishing, 08, 09, 010, even 012, this is definitely in my armoury now. For those days when the fish are very, very hard to come by, bites are very shy, you can change to this fluorocarbon and all of a sudden your catch rate goes through the roof. Like I say, that's my lines for pole fishing, the main lines and the hook lengths and the reasons behind them. The only other line I want to touch on, and this is for real pulling up trees days, when you're fishing 022, 020 direct in the edges, when you're fishing in amongst reeds or up against lily pads, and you really do need a very, very strong, very thick, durable line, is the Super G line again from Gamakatsu and Dawa. Again, if I have to use very strong line and I'm going in amongst snags and I want a line that isn't going to let me down on a big hook like a 12 or a 10, something like red hydro, and I really don't want my line to let me down, the Super G is my number one. So like I say, I've got a few different lines there. I've got a lot of number ones, as you might have picked up on, but all for different circumstances. Like I say, they all play their part, and they're tried and trusted lines. And more importantly, they're very user friendly. There's nothing worse than tying some hooks and you're not 100% happy with your knot formation or your loop tying. So like I say, not only are these lines that I've got utmost confidence in, but they're very user friendly as well.